Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph. I'm here with Drako, and today we're going to continue the top 100 games of all time list, this 2022 edition that we are doing. Number 70 to 61 here today. And just before we get going, I do want to remind you, as you can see in the background here, I have this little teaser up, and we are going to do the top 24 games. The last piece of this list is going to be together with Mats and Andreas, my friends. It's going to be really fun, and it starts December 1st with the Advent Calendar, one episode each day for all December there. And if you're curious about what they have on their top hundreds, there will be in the video description, but there will be spoilers there as well, so check that after you have seen this video. All right, let's get going with number 70. So at number 70 we have Isle of Skye. And this is an old video, so I'm sorry for the quality in the background here. But it's a really fun game that has been around for quite a while. It's a little bit, Carcassonne. You're building up little tiles that form different landscapes, but you're building your own little kingdom. And then everyone else is building their thing, and you are auctioning for the tiles. And that's really where the game shines. I mean, the actual tiling and the puzzle of that is okay, it's fun. But the real sort of great thing about this game is the auction, where you have your little player screens, and every time it's your turn, you pull out 3 tiles from a bag, and you will put 1 to remove, and the other 2 you will put a price on, and then you all lift up your screen, and then in turn order you can buy one of the other one's tiles, and you're hoping that someone will buy yours, or maybe not. If you have a tile that you really want to keep, you might put a lot of money on it, so it has a high cost. The only problem is that if nobody buys it, you will have to pay that money to the bank. And if someone buys it, then at least you got a lot of money, right? So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff with this. And there was, I think there's 2 expansions for this. I have one of them, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. Most of the time I love expansions, right? The board games. But this one was a little bit, I felt like the base game itself is so elegant and so smooth, and so it's a nice package in there, a nice playing time and all that. And that expansion just added like complexity that felt a little bit chunky to me. But that was the Journeyman's, I think it's called, that expansion that I have. And another thing I really like about the game is how this main board there, you have a bunch, as you can see by Drako there, a bunch of different objectives. And you shuffle them up and you pull them out randomly for each game. So that means that you will get a lot of variation in the game as well. And depending on which objectives come up together, that will form different strategies and make different tiles important for you to get. Really good game. Isle of Skye from Chieftain to King. Can recommend it. And now let's head to the next one. Next up here at 69, it's Hanabi, which is a small card game. This is somewhat of a little bit of a deduction in here. It's a cooperative game where we're all having a bunch of cards. We're together as a team trying to build up a stack of cards. And we're trying to build them up from like the lower number, from 1 to 5, in different colors, different suits. Now the trick with this game is that, as this picture will demonstrate, you are holding the cards backwards. So I don't see what cards I have, but I see what everyone else has at the table. And the fun thing there is, basically the turn structure is that, on your turn you can either give a clue to someone else and tell them that, oh, this card is a 4, or these all like, if you pick the number, you pick all the cards. So like in this case here, you might say to this lady here that there's like these 2 cards are 5s. I mean, she still wouldn't know what 5s they are, what color they are. Or you can pick like green, and you can tell someone all of these cards are green, and they know it's green. So, but the thing is, to give those clues also cost a little token. To get the tokens back, you will have to discard a card. And there's always that excitement in this game when someone's about to discard a card that they might not know anything about. And the risk is that they might, discard something that is needed. Because there's, just a few, like, I think the 4s, there's only 2 4s, there's only 1 5, there's only like 3 3s, and so on. So if like the red 5 is discarded, then we can never reach the top score. We can never get to 5 on that, in that suit. Another really fun thing in this game is the deduction part, because the cards that are discarded, you will put them out on the table, and there will be these occasions where you're sitting there and someone will tell me that this card here is a 5, so I know I have a 5, and I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, the red 5 is there, and I can see the other 5s, and then I just realize, it just pops into my head that, okay, then I must have the green 5. That makes all the sense. And also, like, why did someone tell me a certain thing? You can try to get into the mind of your co-players and try to figure out, okay, so why did they pick to tell me these cards were green? What do they mean by that? Should I know them? Should I understand, like, between the lines, that I have a certain number of green, so we save the amount of clues we need to give? There's a lot of good stuff with this one. It's an older one. It's just a bunch of cards, and yeah, it plays so much fun. I had great moments with this one. So Hanabi, good game. Then at 68 we have Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle Earth, which is a Fantasy Flight game. It's a sort of continuation, or it had uses the exact same basic system that Mansions of Madness 2nd edition is using, where you have an app, and in this playthrough here I go back and forth between the app and the board. And so you have an app that takes care of a lot of boring bookkeeping, like how much health does a monster still have, or so on. In this one, you are the famous heroes from Lord of the Rings. I think this thematically takes place before the books or the movies. You're going around with Legolas and Aragorn, and you're trying to fight your way through orcs and the goblins and so on, and you're trying to complete a mission. The fun thing with having an app, and as you can see here, here's the app. The fun thing is that you can also have things that wouldn't really be possible. It would at least be a lot harder to manage with just a deck of cards or something like that. For example, you could face like a merchant, and you're talking to the merchant, and you get to pick things in the app, like how do you want to respond. And then later on you might meet the same merchant again, and depending on how you responded earlier, you will get a different attitude from the merchant and so on. So that is really cool, and that's why I love app integration in board games, because you can create these ongoing scenarios where the app keeps tracks of things. It has memory, which a deck of cards doesn't have, of course. Also, I like how the combat system in this one works. I actually like it better than I do with Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. That's why this one is higher up on my list, really. I mean, I like the theme as well with Lord of the Rings, but I really like how it's card play, and you have these interesting decisions with hand management, where you have these cards, and then the cards have an effect that could be either used like a one time, or that you can have them in place, have an ongoing effect. The problem is, if you have them in play, then you don't have them in your hand. And when you have them in your hand, you can, or like when you not in your hand, when you have them in your deck, then you will draw them to, when you do tests or fight and so on, you will draw a card from your deck, and then you're hoping to get these like success symbols on the card. And of course, the cards that have the most success symbols also are the cards that are best to have out in play, which means they're not in your deck, so you can't draw them when you're trying to do tests. And that balance there is really interesting, and I prefer that to rolling a die, because a die is a die, right? But a deck of cards, that can be changed as you go, and you can get like better cards during the campaign, and that you can put them into your deck. You can upgrade cards and so on. So this is a campaign game, and it's more of a campaign game than Mansions of Madness. Mansions of Madness you can play like one scenario in an evening. You can do that here as well, but then the next time you meet up, you continue the campaign, which I do like as well, if you have the time for it. I have a really hard time getting with these kind of games to the table, except for with Drako or soloing, of course, which I do play this a lot. And there's expansions for this that I haven't played. I haven't gotten around to, I think there's 2 expansions that I haven't played for this. So yeah, Journeys in Middle Earth, really cool game. I really like this style of game, and that's why it's on my list. And moving from orcs and goblins and elves into birds. So Wingspan is my number 67, and this was when I'm, when my mind, I go back in memory to when this came out, that was a surprise to me, and because, I mean, it was Stonemaier Games. It wasn't James Stegmaier. It's Elizabeth Hargrave who designed this one. But I remember when this came out, and I was very hesitant. I was like, well, a game about birds. I'm not that interested in birds, to be honest. I don't know like bird names. I don't really care that much for birds. I don't know why. I like other animals like dragons. But anyway, this really, hit well with me, and a lot of people. This has been super popular. I guess this is, one of the most popular games in terms of like mass market, where like serious modern gamery board games meet the general population. This is a huge one, which is awesome as well, because I think this brings a lot of players into our hobby. And yeah, Wingspan is really cute with the components, with the eggs, the tower, with the big dice, with the food and the cards, and like all the information on the cards and about the birds that are actually accurate. There's been expansions with different continent birds like Europe and Asia and so on. And yeah, I really like it. I haven't played all the expansions. I haven't played Oceania, I think it is. The one with Nectar. I think it's that one that I haven't played. And I played this quite a bit like last year or so, but then I played it on Steam. Really good implementation on Steam. I think it's on BGA now as well, but I haven't tried that one. I love the implementation on Steam. It's one of my favorite board game implementations in a digital format. I should do a new list about that actually. Like I did one like 2 years ago about like my top 10 digital board games, but I should do one as well, a new one, because after that like Gloomhaven came out and this one and a bunch of other ones. That's something I should do. I should put that on my to-do list. So yeah, Wingspan is a really fun game. So engine building and all that. I think most of you watching already know what Wingspan is, but if you don't, you can always go check out this video. All the videos that you see here, all the Board Game Geek pages for the different games that I talk about will be linked to in the description of this video, so you can find out more about them. I also made a video this year at April 1st where me and Drako played Wingspan, and we also had some really nice potato chips and stuff. That was nice, Drako. Even though we dropped some cream on the board, you remember that? But we took care of that in the dishwasher, so yeah. That was fun. Anyway, Wingspan is a really cool game. Check it out if you haven't. It's one that I think most people would enjoy. And then we have a game that I haven't played in a good while, and this has been way higher up on my list, but it's kind of fallen down because I haven't played it. And the main reason I haven't played it is because my friend Andreas, who owns this one, we've been playing so many other games this year, and we haven't met as much as we usually do either. So anyway, I hope to get to play this soon again, because Alchemist is amazing. This is a really cool. In its base, it's a good worker placement game. Has nice components. It looks nice. It's a fun mechanically. The mechanisms of the game are solid. You have the board out here. You go around. You pick up stuff. You do things. You get resources and so on. The theme of it is amazing, though. I really like this, where you're alchemists and you're trying to make potions of different kinds and sell them to like adventurers. So that is really cute and all that. But then the main part of the game that really makes me love this one is the deduction part. So this has a huge part of the game is like basically like a Sudoku. So you can see it here. Here we have like the pyramid there. So you have every player has this player screen in front of them. They have the little pyramid, and you're trying to and there's an app. There's an app assisting this game as well. This one game you can play without the app if you have like one player that's just keeping track of things, which would be really boring. It's not really a player. You would have someone on the side. But the app is really good. Everyone downloads the app to their phone. Everyone has the same code in the phone. So the app has like the solution. And then we as the players, we are trying to deduce how things are related to each other, like a Sudoku really. Like if this is here, then that can't be there, and it's a lot of logical puzzle and deduction, and that goes very well together with the worker placement part. They just fit together really nicely, and yeah, really fun game. I really need to play this soon again. I will have to tell my friends that we need to bring this to the table. It's so cool. I think it has some it's like in some ways it's a classic Euro with the worker placement part and it's gathering resources, using them, all that. But then this addition of the deduction part just makes this game something different. Like I don't really know of any other game that are that similar to this one. So and that's always fun. Yeah, if you haven't checked this out and so on, if you like the deduction part, you like worker placement, this is something you really should check out. So yeah, Alchemists. Now let's head to the next one. And next up we have a very small card game, and this is from 1995, High Society. So this is one of the older ones on my top 100 for sure. And this has come out in a bunch of different variations and editions. So I don't really know which one I played. It's probably this one or something. I think it's this one. And this is the whole game that you can see here. It's just these cards, some money cards as well. Very interesting auction game, and this is why this game is so cool. You basically have all these cards out there that give you points. You shuffle them up, you will draw them, and then when a card comes out, most of them give you points. Some of them give you minus points. Some of them give you a double of the points you have, and so on. And then everyone has the same money cards like in their hand. You have all these cards in your hand. And you have fixed amounts on them, as you can see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. And then you bid. It's an open bid, like poker or whatever. You're like, I'll bid 4, and then the next player can either fold or bid more. The cool thing is that, like, if I win a card, then I will lose those money cards. And then, since they're set amounts, like, I don't get any change. So, like, if I want to bid 7, I'll have to bid 6 and a 1. So after a while, when you use some of these cards, you get so limited. You can't, like, bid. You might be forced to raise more than you want to, which is very interesting, and it makes for an interesting combination here. And the whole twist of the game is that at the end of the game, you check how much points everyone have, but whoever has the least money left is eliminated. Doesn't matter how many points they have. And that makes the whole game, because then you can't just, like, bid crazy and outbid people. You have to keep track of how much money do I need to keep. Like, if you have a really good memory, I guess you could keep track of how much money everyone spends. I don't do that when I play this. I play for fun, but I do check a little bit. Like, you know, if my opponent sits over there and I see, one of them, and I see that, they only have like 2 cards left in their hand. Like, is that the 25 and the 20? Then I might need, I need to make sure that I am not the one with the least money at the end of the game. So that brings for a lot of interesting decisions. And this is such a good design, like such an impressive design, where you only have, I don't know, what is it, 20 cards, and then the money card, and that makes a whole game, which is, fairly quick and easy to play. But oftentimes you can play like 2 or 3 times in a row. But really fun, high society. I can really recommend this one. And next up, we have a game that is a little bit silly. This is Dinosaur Tea Party. This is a new on the list for this year. Haven't had it on the list before, and it's it's quite high up in a sense. But I really enjoy this one for what it is. It's a silly little game. It's basically a deduction game, but it also has, it's just like, it's a deduction game by logic. Like, it's not about, like, it's not social deduction. You're not lying to each other, but the way you give, and that was very strange. Now, Board Game Geek stopped working all of a sudden, and it seems the web page is down. So, I'm not going to let that stop my video recording here. I'm not going to wait for them to fix the site. Anyway, so Dinosaur Tea Party. You have these cards out here. Now I'm on Restoration Games, the publisher's page instead. You have the cards out here, and then the players all have these little tokens. And everyone is like, and there's a lot of role playing in this. You don't have to do that, but the game is so much better if you all, like, go into the role of one of these dinosaurs that are at the tea party, and you speak British accents and stuff. We had a lot of fun doing that. So you're one of these dinosaurs, and then the other players are trying to figure out which one is it. So you ask each other questions, and it's like, 20 questions. And you can ask about certain things, which is what these tokens represent. So I might ask Drako, are you in a green room? And then if Drako is in a green room, he has to, flip his token to indicate that yes, he's in a green room, or no, he's not. If he's not, well, then he's in the purple or the orange room, right? We keep going like that, and you're trying to figure out who the other one is. And if someone finds out what dinosaur I am, whoever finds it out, guesses it correctly, will get a point, and then the dinosaur will be removed. They go home from the tea party, and then I will randomly get another one, and we'll keep going. It's so much fun. It's just a silly game. I play this with my friends and their kids, and they had a lot of fun as well, the kids. So it's one of those family games, and it's really fun how you have 3 little tokens that you place randomly on a card. And so one of the dinosaurs randomly will always switch their answers. So they can choose, they say yes and no, yes, no, no matter what they actually have as a correct answer. One of them always says no, and one of them always lies. And that makes it so much interesting, because then you can't 100% trust the information. And I really like especially with the one that always says no. If if someone asks Drako 3 times, like, we go around the table and everyone's asking Drako questions, and Drako is like constantly saying, like, no, he doesn't have glasses, he doesn't have a hat, he doesn't. And then at some point someone will be like, wait, are you the one that always says no? You start suspecting him, which might not be the case. You might just get unlucky, and he actually was going to say, all of those answers would be no, because all of those questions were asking about something that it doesn't have. So yeah, really cute little game, really fun. I can really recommend this to families, or gamers, they can have a fun gaming night and sit around and not, being that competitive. So cute, Dinosaur Tea Party. And then at 63, we have another game that is new on my list, in my top 100. It's Lost Cities. This is a game from 1999, so it's not a new game. It's not even a new game for me. I played this 8 years ago or something like that, even more maybe. Back then, I don't remember liking it that much. I thought it was okay. I made a video of this early on the channel. So early that I actually removed the video by now because it wasn't that great quality-wise, so I did clean up some old videos, so that's why I'm showing you the Board Game Geek page instead. But anyway, Lost Cities is another game that is just a few cards, and the reason it has risen for me really is because I played it a bunch this year on Board Game Arena. Played against friends there and against random people and just had a blast with it. This is a really simple game. This is all it is. There's a cards in 5 different suits, and then you have a board with 5 different spots. And all the cards have, all the suits of cards have 3 handshakes, which is I don't know what they call them in the game, cooperation, whatever. And then they have from 2 to 10 in value. And what you're doing is you're on my turn, I could take a card and play it either on my side of the board, which means I will try to score that color or the suit, or I can play it on the middle of the board, which means it's open to grab for my opponent or me. This is a pure 2-player game, by the way, I should say that. And then after I've done that, I either take a card from the deck, on top of the deck, a card that I don't know what it is, or I take one of the top cards out on the board that me or my opponent has placed there. I take the top card from one of those stacks. That's the whole game. But the scoring is interesting because you don't want to start too many different suits in a game. You usually play 3 games and you have a combined score. So if I place down, for example, you want to start with the handshakes because they will double whatever you have in that. The problem is, if I start the blue, if I put down the blue handshake on my side, at that moment I get minus 20 points because I have started the blue suit on my side. And since I have the handshake, it's a double, so I have minus 40 right away. That's why this is so lovely on Board Game Arena, because Board Game Arena, the computer keeps track of all that scoring. It can be quite tricky in real life. But what I'm hoping to do is if I can get 8 cards, if I can get 8 blue cards played by the end of the game, then the minus 20 is removed. And of course the doubler will double all the positive points I get as well. So you sort of want to start a suit if you think you will get to 8 cards, or if you think you can get to a positive score. So for example, putting down the the 7, 8, and 9, and I don't know. Let's say I put down the 8, 9, and 10 in one color. What is that? That's 27, and I lose, and it's minus 20. So I still make 7 points profit, which is okay, of course, but I'd rather get something better. And the really fun part of this game is the whole part where I think you have 8 cards in your hand. You're trying to save up on colors, and that's a lot of points during the game. You will be in a situation where you don't want to give up any cards. You want to save them for later because you have to play them from from 2 to 10. So if I have the green 10, I can't play it sort of until I found a bunch of other green cards there in between. I could place it out in the middle of the board. Problem is then my opponent might take it. So I have to be it's a very interesting decision there with hand management. So that's why I really like Lost Cities. Really cool one. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't played it, you can play it for free on Board Game Arena. I can recommend you to do that. Great game. And then at 62, another game that I haven't filmed and I probably won't be filming because this is a social deduction game, or it's a deduction style game, Saboteur. Another older one, another one that I played a lot on Board Game Arena. I also played Saboteur 2 on a Board Game Arena, which I like in a sense even better, but yeah, it's I combine them into this spot here on the top 100. So this is a super simple game as well, in a sense. Like many of these games on this segment today, it seems to be a lot of these lighter style games. So everyone gets a secret role. You're either a good dwarf trying to build a tunnel, dig out a tunnel to get to the treasure, which is in one of 3 spots, and you don't know which. Or you're a saboteur. And if you're a saboteur, you want to stay a little bit hidden. I like this game on like 7, 8 players, more players. So there's like 2 or 3 saboteurs. And with the Saboteur 2 game, there's also other roles like third parties and all that. So every so everyone is like placing out these cards on the board in order to try to reach the different treasure spots to find the gold. But of course the saboteurs will detour you and put like, you know, stopping things or moving different ways. And you don't want to be too open about being a saboteur, because if I suspect someone, then I can play like an aggressive card on them and destroy one of their items. If their items like the pickaxe or their trolley is destroyed, then they can't place out map cards on the board. They have to find ways to repair those. And especially when I play this on over Zoom, we're sitting on Zoom and we're playing on Boardgame Arena, having a blast. Like I play this with like 8 people, and everyone starts to like question each other, being suspect of each other. Oh, why did you play that card? And are you the saboteur? And we start destroying our, you know, the other people's stuff. And I play this a lot with my werewolf group, and we had really fun with this one. And I think saboteur, I haven't played this in physical form at all actually. But I think I would enjoy it that way as well, sitting around the table, putting out all these cards and like looking at people trying to figure out, oh, wait, why did you put out that card? And, you know, and especially again with the Saboteur 2 game and some expansions, you can like, maybe I'm not a saboteur, but I'm not on the dwarf team either. Maybe I'm just a geologist. I'm just trying to get as many gems out there on the board as possible, just make the game go on longer, which means I might start building a tunnel the wrong way because I'm just trying to prolong the game so I get more points that way. But everyone might think that I'm a saboteur, and yeah, it's a really fun one. I love these kind of games, like social deduction style. So saboteur is new on my list, but it will definitely stay here in the top 100. And the last game for today's segment, number 61, is the Taverns of Tiefenthal. This came out a few years ago. I played this over at another Mats, one of my friends' house, and really enjoyed it. It's a dice drafting game. You are building up a tavern, and I think that's the main thing that I really like about this game, is how thematic it is, and how you, on your player board, you have like different seats and you have different staff in your tavern, and you're trying to upgrade them as you go. And when you upgrade them, you actually pull out a little piece of cardboard, flip it over, put in another piece. So you really see the change in your tavern as you go. And I think that's great. And it also has an interesting like system of the card play, where cards have different pip values of dice on them, and then you need a certain die to activate a certain table, but you're trying to like get better tables and more waitresses. You're trying to, like, it's not a deck builder, but you're like building up your cards, you're upgrading your cards as you go. I also like dice drafting. I think that's a fun mechanism in board games, and I like this one here, where you have those little coasters. When you roll dice, put them on, and you take one, and then they rotate, so you have the draft in there as well. A lot of fun stuff with this one. I want to play the expansion. I know my friend has it now, but I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet over there. But that's something I look forward to. I look forward to getting back to this game. And it's really cute. It's one of those, like, it's a mid-weight game, and you know, it has all the Euro things in it. But I just love how, let's see, here's a good picture of the actual little tiles up there in your tavern. I just love this when they put the extra attention to the production, so that you actually move these pieces around the cardboard tiles. I think that's great. I think I wouldn't have loved the game as much if not for that. I like gimmicks in games. I like things that looks nice and are cool. So yeah, Taverns of Tiefenthal, that is the last one for this segment. We are going to be back next Friday, same time. And then we'll go on to number 60 to 51, of course. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. I just love sitting here talking about board games with you. As I said before, I almost love talking about board games as much as I like to play them. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed this segment. If you did, subscribe to the channel down here, press the red button, and like the video, put a thumbs up there. That really helps with YouTube algorithm and all that. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening, morning, whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.